Praise Yah, brothers and sisters. Praise the Most High. So worthy to be praised, so worthy to be lifted up and magnified and extolled and esteemed. He is the great one, the mighty one, the almighty one, the invincible one, the all-powerful one, omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient, the all-knowing one. Today we're going to talk about the first day of the month, the Rosh Hadosh, and how we are to keep that first day of the month throughout the months of the year. In the Old Testament, as we know it, or during the time of the Torah, when it was being kept, and now we're a generation who are returning to keeping the Torah. But anyway, so back in when they were faithfully keeping it, the Hebrew people visited the temple of Yahshara'al. They had a special time of sacrifice. It was a time of family celebration, but they abstained from business and work. Mainly business. They were not supposed to be doing anything that brought about monetary gain. So I'm going to start up with reading Tahallym 81. Tahallym 81, blow the ram's horn, the shofar, at the time of the new moon, at the covering on our festival day. For this is a law for Yahshara'al, and a right ruling of Aluah of Yah'qob. He appointed it to Yosef for a witness when he went throughout the land of Mizraim. I heard a language that I didn't know. I removed from his shoulder the burden. His hands were freed from the baskets. And so, I wondered, I said, oh my, is that one reason why he did, so was Yosef good about keeping the ways of Yahuwah? Even though he was pretty much in captivity, he was a slave, but he was always usually honored and had positions of honor, except for the time when he was in prison for a lie. But it was for his making also. So, even though he was destined for that position, was he destined because Yahuwah knew his heart and knew that he would hold on to the ways that were pleasing to Yah? But that was very interesting to me to read that he appointed it to Yosef for a witness. It was a witness. So he was doing it in front of those Egyptians, the Mizraimites. He was doing it. Yeah. Wow. Interesting, right? Okay, so I'm going to read some verses that are under the law in the books of Shemoth, Numbers, or Bamidbar. I don't know why I have such a hard time with that, pronouncing that name. But Numbers and Deuteronomy. So in Exodus, Shemoth 40, verse 2, on the first day of the first month shall you set up the tabernacles of the tent of the congregation. Verse 17, and it came to pass in the first month in the second year, on the first day of the month, that the Mishkat, the tabernacle, was erected. Numbers 10, verse 10, also in the day of your gladness and in your solemn days and in the beginnings of your months, you shall blow the shofar, the trumpets, over your burnt offering and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for memorial before your Aluah. I am Yahuwah your Aluah. Numbers 28, verse 11, and in the beginnings of your months you shall offer burnt offering to Yahuwah. Every month throughout the months of the year. Dabarim 1, verse 3, and it came to pass in the 40th year, in the 11th month, on the first day of the month, that Musa spoke to the children of Yahshara'al according to all that Yahuwah had given him in commandment to them. Okay, so those are the verses that I was able to find that are in the law. Yeshayahu 66, verse 23, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Shabbat to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahushua. You know what? That would go with Ezekiel 46. He said to come before me. So in Ezekiel 46, it says, verse 1, thus says Yahuwah Aluah, the gate of the inner court that looks towards the east shall be shut 6 working days. But on the Shabbat it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open. And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate without, and shall stand by the post of the gate. And the priest shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offering, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then shall he go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before Yahuwah, in the Shabbats and in the new moons, and the burnt offerings, and the prince shall offer unto Yahuwah in the Sabbath day, and the burnt offering that the prince shall offer unto Yahuwah in the Shabbat days. So he says, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before Yahuwah. And then in the one I just read in the law, it said that we would worship before him. Now that was Yahshara'al. So it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Shabbat to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahuwah. And so there's several other verses that talk about the new moon. I want to read from Amos 8. Hear this, O you that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn? So these are greedy salesmen, businessmen, merchants. So when will the new moon be gone, that we can sell corn? And the Shabbat, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit. See, that's why Yahuwah had in the law, he talked about having just weights, because they were deceitful. So they want the new moon and the Shabbats to be over with quickly, so they can buy the poor for silver and the needy for a pair of shoes, yea, and sell the refuge of the wheat. But Yahuwah has sworn by the excellency of Yah'qob, surely I will never forget any of their works. And then another event that happened on the new moon was Noah in Bereshit 8 verse 5, and the waters decreased continually. So the water was continually decreasing until the 10th month. And in the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the top of the mountains seen. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the first month, and the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth. So the first month of the first day of the month. So that was the new year. So he started his new life on the first day of the first month of the year. Wow. So there's about 20 other verses that I'm going to share with you. I'll put them in the description. So even though we are, when we remember the new moon and take it as a time of celebration and gratefulness and gratitude towards the Most High for keeping us another month and getting ready to escort us through a new month, when it comes to the Feast of Trumpets, which is also the first day of the month, which is the 7th month, it reads in Yah'qob, or Leviticus 23, verse 24, speak unto the children of Yahshara'al, saying, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall you have a Shabbat, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a set apart convocation. The other months, when we do it in the first day of the month, the first day of every month, it's not a convocation, it's not a set apart convocation, only on the 7th month. And then it's written again in Numbers 29 verse 1, in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you shall have a Kodosh convocation. You should do no servile work. It is the day of blowing of trumpets unto you. Yeah. But the other months, the first day of the month, we blow the shofar. We're grateful to Yahuwah. And we can read Psalms 81 and or any of these scriptures that you want to read. But the other ones are just mainly events that have happened throughout the ages on the first day of the month. And I just thought that was very interesting, that is important to Yah, that he would have certain things happen on that first day of the month. Sometimes he was given a word to the Nebis to tell the people, but so that's why I'm including them. And then, like we said, in Tahallym 81, he says that for this was a statute for Yahshara'al and a law of the Aluah of Yah'qob. And we do see where it's written in Exodus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy to do it, to keep the first day of the month, and then these other verses. So I just want to encourage you that if you're not already doing it, that you would I guess be obedient and do it, because it's written that we are to do it. And reading these other verses might even encourage you to do so, that the new moon meant something. Then I also want to mention that when the Shunammite woman went to see the prophet regarding her son, she asked her husband, she commanded him to have one of their workers to saddle up a donkey for her so she could go see the man of Aluah. And he wanted to know why. He said, it's neither new moon or Shabbat. Why are you going to see him? All she said was, all is well, or it shall be well. And so it was a known fact that the new moon and the Shabbat were days that they kept. And every month, when you're keeping the lunar calendar, especially the lunar way of your timing your days, their calendar is looked at this. You have your work days, you have the new moon day, your work days, and your Shabbats. And so her husband wanted to know, it's neither new moon or Shabbat. Why are you going? And then there's an account in here when King Saul was having a dinner, a new moon dinner, and David didn't come, and he wanted to know why he wasn't there. So it was something that they always did, and I would think that's something we're still supposed to do, because he has written it in the laws. And then remember in the one I read about in Dabarim, that he actually gave a command for Yahuwah to speak to them on the first day of the 11th month, to give commandment to them. So I just wanted to share that with you real quickly, that it is part of the law. And I had told you like about a month or so ago, when I realized that we're supposed to be living it. If we know that it hasn't been abolished, then why aren't we living it? And not just hitting and missing, but everything. We're supposed to be doing everything, except for, of course, we know that the animal sacrifices is done away with. But there's so many other things that we can be doing that would please the Most High and would allow us to be accounted worthy to be included in his kingdom if we're keeping the Shabbat. So one of them is the new moon. We are not to worship the moon at all. We know that, but it's a sign. It's sign. For some reason, Yahuwah has told us, and we know we don't know everything why he tells us to do what he tells us to do, but he tells us to do it. So I'm going to do it. And like I said, I know some people are already doing it. Just blow the shofar in the morning and smile and rejoice and be grateful to it. And one thing, like I said, for me is a reminder that I have been kept, protected, provided for, favored, covered from last moon to this new moon. And I'm grateful. And I'm grateful that he has kept my descendants, and we are doing well, and grateful that he will accompany me through this new one. And the blowing of shofar to me is shouting my victory from last month and announcing the victory for the upcoming month, that, hey, me and Yahuwah are coming through. So anyways, be encouraged, brothers and sisters. Talk to you soon. Hopefully you'll keep the next new moon day and blow the shofar he said in the beginning of your months, every month of the year. All praises be to Abba Yah, the one who is worthy. And I'll talk to you soon. Be encouraged. Stay encouraged. Stay in Yah. Win in Yah. Know Yah is with us every step of the way. And his will is for us to do his will. I love you, brothers and sisters, and just cheering us on. We're going to make it if we cling to him, if we look to him, for he is our life. All praises be to Abba Yah. All praises be to the Most High. Shalama. Shalom. Shalom and shalom. All praises.